welcome back to the Digital Foyer. So excited to be here with all of you as we enter into Holy Week. My name is Father Isaac, one of the associate pastors here, and I'm joined by Noreen Smith.
Hello, hello.
And we're really excited to talk about Holy Week, aren't we?
We are very excited to talk about Holy Week.
There's so much going on in this week.
Yeah.
And what does Holy Week mean for you? I know that there's so many things happening. It can mean so many different things for different people. But in your own life, what are some memories associated with Holy Week?
All right, for me, the concept of Holy Week even was something really new. I actually went through RCIA in 2017-2018, and it was at the 2018 Easter Vigil in Holy Week that I was confirmed as Catholic.
Wow.
Right, so I actually had a conversion moment and started following Jesus when I was 16, but it was in evangelical church. And so I've spent decades through evangelical and charismatic churches. And through a sequence of things that God led me to, I knew that I was home when I came here and joined the Catholic Church. So that first Holy Week, it's all new, right? Like it's not something I'm used to. The whole idea of the washing of the feet.
Which would take place on Holy Thursday as part of the Mass. The priest will wash the feet of people in remembrance of how Jesus washed the feet of his disciples.
And I was picked as one of the people from RCIA to be there, right?
Wow.
So I was sort of sitting there with my feet bare up on the steps of the sanctuary, and Father Simon came by with the bowl, right?
And washed your feet.
And washed my feet. Like there's,
It would be pretty cool to take that in for your first time, to have that experience.
Yeah. Every bit of it. And that's what that whole week was like. Like every bit of it was so entirely new. The idea of praying in the garden afterwards. And there would be like people sitting on the floor down in the auditorium praying, like hiding behind a pillar. Like those chairs were full. Yeah. As people just wanted to sit with Jesus in the garden in anticipation of what was coming next. And
that sitting in the garden again takes place on Holy Thursday, right after the Mass, where in remembrance of going into the Garden of Gethsemane, which is what Jesus' disciples did, we kind of process with Jesus in the Eucharist we kind of build a garden in the church separately. So it's just so much symbolism, so much richness going on. And we want to make sure that people can have experiences of Holy Week as well, and enter into that intimate moment with Jesus as he goes through his passion. And so what are some of the things we're doing? I know that we've got a lot of adoration times coming up in Holy Week. Maybe you can share how can people come and pray?
Oh yeah. Well, we have early morning adoration in our church that goes from 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. But normally you have to actually be kind of registered and engaged in the program in order to get in the door. Not for Holy Week. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday morning, the side door will be unlocked and you can come on in and spend time with Jesus before he goes to the garden all week.
Wow. Yeah, that I can certainly say, come and spend some extra time with Jesus, 6 to 9, Monday through Thursday. Yeah. Doors are going to be open. We've been talking a lot about Holy Thursday, this day where we remember where Jesus institutes the priesthood, where he celebrates the very first Mass, going into the garden. So we've talked a lot about that, but Good Friday comes right after. It's like every single day there's something new. And Good Friday it's a very solemn day because it's the day that Jesus died. And if you've never been to a Good Friday before service, I invite you to come. We have a kids one earlier on in the day. We have one for all ages at the 3 p.m. And it's very solemn. Yeah. It's very, I would say sad, but there's also this sense of, wow, Jesus died for me. It's almost like going to Jesus's funeral. I've heard someone kind of explain that. It kind of feels like that,
there's a stillness in it that I wasn't used to experiencing in my other times at Good Friday throughout the years, right? Because it's so hard on Good Friday not to borrow Easter Sunday and bring it in. But to sit with Good Friday was a deep experience that I hadn't expected. And the other thing on this coming up, this Good Friday as well, is we have Stations of the Cross every Friday, but it's a special musical Stations of the Cross on Good Friday at 7 o'clock. So it's a little bit later than the usual one.
7 o'clock. Be there. Walk with Jesus as he carries the cross. Yeah. There's so much going on. Really encourage you to participate. And then we move into Saturday. Which is just so much fun.
Absolutely. I understand never having experienced an Easter Vigil, not even knowing an Easter Vigil existed. And it's like, holy cow, all right, like there's a campfire outside when you get started. Everybody's coming in with these candles. And there's like this long, it's like telling it's like the Lord of the Rings, this entire span of the story of God and us, with this interlaying of scriptures that go back and forth, Old Testament Psalm, Old Testament Psalm, Old Testament, it's just like all in the dark. And then there's this moment, like understand we're not allowed to say the A word, which is not what you think it is right now. A-L-L.
Church A word.
Yeah. Right, and then there's this moment in the Easter Vigil when all the lights come up and everybody's pulling bells out of nowhere, or bells on their cell phones, you know, or Father Simon, of course, who had that year a chocolate lint bunny, which was gold, like a bell, but it had a tiny red ribbon and a tiny bell on its neck, and he's shaking his chocolate lint bunny because he didn't have a bell and someone gave him a lint bunny.
Wow.
You know, and all the lights come up and we're singing this, you know, the music that we haven't been able to sing for a long time, and it was just, I mean, it's an astonishing 3 hours.
The Easter Vigil, it's not for the faint of heart. It is long, but it is beautiful. And I don't think I've made it through an Easter Vigil without crying at some point. Like, it's just heart-rendingly beautiful. Really encourage you to come and take that in. And then Sunday morning, Jesus is risen. Easter morning, we've got more masses happening with lots of overflow for the many guests that we know are coming. And so it's just really exciting. Holy Week is, I can tell you as a priest, it's probably the most exhausting week of my life. I was
actually debating with Catherine whether it was Christmas or the Triduum that was the most exhausting for you.
I think for me it's the Triduum. Like, I just collapse at the end, but it is my favorite week. Hands down is my favorite week of the entire year. There's so many opportunities for you to come worship with us, come to extra adoration, and to make your own memories with Jesus this year. I'm really excited for it. So happy Holy Week, everyone, and thanks for stopping by.
Yeah.